Hey, so just had my first kick after Worlds, and lifted some weights. And now I'm stretching, so I thought while I stretch, I'd maybe just give some thoughts about Worlds to sort of get it off my mind. I'm still really emotional. Lots of emotion, lots of good feelings from Worlds. I think I said it a few times when I was emceeing up on stage, but and it's something that Worlds really reaffirmed just how much this community means to me. It's really, I don't know, I think I posted in a video that Ken, one of his vlogs recently, just how deep the connection is. It's like 2/3 of my life I've been playing footbag, and seeing people after, decades, but still feeling so connected to them, even though, I couldn't tell you where they lived exactly, what city. Many of them, I don't know what jobs they have, family, but there's still such a deep, unique connection that I'm so grateful for. I've teared up a number of times at Worlds, at the site. I think I mentioned that on the stage as well, and almost teared up when I was saying that. I broke down in the shower when I got home a couple nights ago. It just all came out then. It was just an overload of joy and seeing so many footbaggers all at once, and just such a good time. I was telling my sisters that, or maybe it was Matthew, I forget. There's this overwhelming feeling of like, I got to get back to Worlds, got to get back to Worlds, got to get back to Worlds. And I was telling my sisters, I wonder if this is what heroin feels like. You just got to get that next hit. It's a really good feeling. I think emceeing went okay. It was my first time emceeing at a footbag event. I teach at a university, so I teach English at a university here in Japan, and so I'm kind of used to standing in front of people and talking. And so hopefully that helped. I know Matthias had said that I was really well composed, and he said it seemed very appropriate in the Japanese context. So that's pretty cool. I did notice that emceeing is tiring. Man, I was just knackered at the end of semifinals and especially finals. And I'm still sort of out of it now. I just kicked for 25, 30 minutes, but didn't have the energy that I thought I would. I worked on some toe stuff. Worlds, one thing that Worlds did, and one of the goals I had was to get humbled. I knew that was going to be easy. That happened especially at the after party. I was in a circle with Jakob and Christopher and Drew and Warren, and there were some other people, Raphael, and you can't, how do you follow those guys in the circle? So got humbled, motivation increase, that was another goal. I knew that would happen. Got to catch up with a bunch of people. And yeah, the goal is to sort of work on weaknesses and try to sort of reframe the way that I kick, because time is limited. I've been kicking about 3 times a week, but it's about 30 minutes, which isn't a lot of time. It's good to sort of warm up and do the tricks that you're good at and maybe try a couple tricks. But for me, I'd like the time to improve my weak areas, which will improve my overall game. The biggest of which is my left toe. I'm fairly one-sided when it comes to toes. I noticed too when I was in circles, I was hesitant to use that toe. It was trying to stick with tricks that I'm comfortable with, which really limited me. I felt like I was always doing the same tricks. But yeah, emceeing was fun. It was really tiring. You're always conscious of what you're saying, and I was pronouncing people's family names in my head numerous times before I called them out. I also noticed that there's a lot of moving parts at Worlds, let alone there's just the net events and the freestyle events, but even little things like I was unaware during finals that in addition to me calling each competitor, on the back screen, the screen on the back of in the back of the stage, Haseken or the Japanese team had put together a sort of montage of everyone's face and their name that would get shown, and so that wasn't known to me until after the first person came out, which was Valeria, and so I called her name as she started walking out and waving, and then the lights dimmed, and then her picture and her name got shown on the back screen, and so it's hard to coordinate an event like Worlds. That's what I found out. After that, I ended up going in the back where everyone was warming up, and I just told them, hey, this is what's happening. Just so you know, if you wanted to come out after I call your name, that's fine, or you can wait. So what ended up happening for most of it was I would call someone's name, they would get an applause from the audience, and then the lights would dim down and their name would get shown on the screen. And then the lights would turn back on and they would walk out and get another applause. So there was a bit of, I'm not sure. I feel like it could have been done more smoothly, but I mean, it worked out in the end, so what are you gonna do? I didn't kick that much, mostly because I was emceeing. I'm just gonna lay down on my back here for a minute. Which is unfortunate. I should have kicked the first day a bit more, and in the morning of semifinals before I took the stage. But, I was talking to someone, and getting from point A to point B at Worlds is not a straight line. You run into people, you see things, you forget things, you start talking, you get asked questions. And it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's kind of just the way that Worlds goes. I did do pretty good at not losing anything. There were 2 spots where I kept all of my stuff, because I know, once you set your bags down, you start wandering, and then if you take something with you, you might set that down at the next spot. So it's easy to lose things. This is the gym where I've been kicking. I'm trying to see the spot. This is kind of the spot. I moved this bar right here out of the way, and I get, I don't know, it's probably about 2 meters by 3 meters. But as you get close to this mirror over here, there's a dip right here. I think this is the drain, and so it's not an ideal space, but it's good enough, and it's better than playing in the 32 to 38 degrees Celsius, which is like mid to high 90s Fahrenheit temperatures outside when it's sunny and asphalt reflects the heat. And right now it's summer vacation, so there's not a lot of students. In fact, I think there was only one in here today. He left after about 30 minutes, so. I guess that's all I wanted to say, but I love this community. I was actually watching a video today on YouTube of the 1989 World Footbag Championships award ceremony, and sort of teared up watching that too. And so something, not sure what it is about this community, but man, fuck. I think it's a combination of personality, of shared hobby, and time on task. When you've been doing something for so long, I think especially in situations where you don't get to see a lot of shredders. I mean, this is the most shredders I've seen in, besides Worlds, this is how many shredders I see every day. So jumping into a place over in Tsukuba, like at Capio, just seeing 100 people playing footbag, whether it be freestyle or net, is just incredible. And I really hope that I get more involved. Let me rephrase that. I'm going to be more involved. 9 years is too long to be away from a tournament. And so hopefully I can coordinate something. It's hard too, because my kids are so young, 4 and 2. It's hard to get away. And so I'm thankful my wife let me get away for 3 days. That was all I needed. Hopefully next year I can coordinate Worlds with a conference, and so then I can go to the conference and maybe get a couple days at Worlds. I'd like to compete in routines, but if that's the case, I have a lot of work to do. I have some songs and I have some bits that I've already planned, but getting up to that level is going to be the problem. Anyway, 10 minutes. I'm going to walk back to my office, maybe finish up. I think it's about 4:15, and maybe head home. Talk soon.